My husband fell in love with my best friend, and I still had to make breakfast for our kids. I knew something was wrong when my husband started dressing better. Not for work, not for me, but for meetings that lasted hours longer than usual. It wasn't paranoia, it was instinct. A sixth sense you develop after 2 toddlers, a few years of marriage, and countless quiet betrayals you've forgiven just to keep the family whole. We live in a modest home tucked away in the suburbs, the kind with sidewalks stained by sidewalk chalk, and the scent is baby lotion always lingering in the air. On paper, our life looked beautiful. Me, 26, a mother of twin boys. Him, 31, a provider. At least he used to be. Our family photos hung like artifacts of a joy I can't seem to remember living. Then, out of nowhere, he told me he wanted to marry my best friend. My best friend. She said no. Of course. She told him she wouldn't wreck a home. My home. She told me everything, crying harder than I did. But he won't let it go. And I'm caught in the ruins of a dream I didn't even realize had crumbled. What do you do when the person you built your life with burns the blueprint? Before all this, I was already drowning. Motherhood is a storm no one warns you about. Everyone talks about love and lullabies, not about the 3 a.m. breakdowns, the isolation, or the crushing guilt of wanting more than diapers and Cheerios. My twins, Leo and Luca, are the brightest lights in my life. But even stars burn you if you're too close for too long. I wasn't working. I'd left my job in marketing when the twins were born. And returning felt like trying to sprint after years of crawling. My days were filled with giggles and tantrums, but my nights were silent, painfully so, especially once my husband started coming home later, smelling of cologne that wasn't mine. Then there's Emily, my best friend since I was 15, the kind of friend who knows my coffee order, my favorite movie, and exactly how to get me to laugh when I'm crying on the kitchen floor. She was practically family. She'd babysit the twins. She threw my baby shower. She helped me through postpartum depression when no one else noticed. So when she sat me down, hands trembling as she told me my husband had confessed his love for her, that he wanted her, not me, I couldn't breathe. I watched her fall apart, apologizing for something she never did. She'd rejected him, repeatedly. She even threatened to cut ties with us if he didn't stop. But that didn't matter to him. He told me, with the same con he uses when ordering takeout, that he wanted to redefine our marriage, that love could be shared, that I was being selfish for not understanding. I felt like I was trapped in a nightmare, one where I was the villain for wanting what I already had, a faithful partner, a secure family, stability. He wanted an open marriage. I wanted him to want me. We argued. We screamed. I cried until my chest physically ached. And every time I thought it couldn't get worse, I'd see him texting, smiling, and I'd know it was her he was thinking of, even if she wanted nothing to do with it. But the worst part, I still had to get up every day and feed our kids. I had to smile through the pain, sing lullabies, and keep the house from collapsing, because I couldn't afford to collapse myself. And still, the thought haunted me. What if I left? Could I do it alone? Would anyone love a mother with 2 toddlers? The breaking point came one quiet afternoon. Leo had spilled apple juice all over the floor. Luca was screaming because his sock had a wrinkle. I was on my knees cleaning when I heard the door creak open. It was him, with that same smug, detached look he'd worn for weeks. He sat down casually, as if everything was fine. I talked to Emily again, he said. My breath caught. She says she's not ready, but I think she'll come around. That's when I snapped. I stood up, shaking, tears burning down my cheeks, hands still wet with juice and rage. Do you hear yourself? You're gambling our family away for a fantasy. He rolled his eyes. You're overreacting. Overreacting. I don't remember when I screamed next. All I know is that something inside me shattered and then hardened. I wasn't just angry. I was done. I'm not sharing my life, my love, or the father of my kids. You made your choice. Now I'm making mine. He scoffed, but I saw it, that flicker of fear in his eyes. Because I wasn't begging. I wasn't crying anymore. I was done. The days after were a blur of logistics and liberation. I reached out to a counselor. I opened a secret savings account. I called my sister, who hadn't heard from me in months. I told Emily everything, that I believed her, that I loved her, and that none of this was her fault. Then I started planning. Every diaper change, every PB&J sandwich, every night I stayed up rocking a baby back to sleep became a reason to fight harder. Not for him, but for my kids and myself. I started applying for part-time remote jobs. I joined mom forums. I cried, yes, but each time I cried, I wiped my face and kept going. Because I was worth more than begging for scraps of love. And my boys deserved a mother who could look in the mirror without shame. He noticed. His tone changed. He became softer. But it wasn't love. It was control slipping through his fingers. And I didn't care anymore. The power had shifted. I had it now. One night, while the kids were asleep, I looked him in the eye and said, "I'm getting out. You don't get to keep me hostage in a marriage you already left." He didn't argue. He just nodded. And I knew then I had already won. It's been a few weeks now. Emily and I are closer than ever. My boys are laughing more. I'm still scared, still tired, but for the first time in a long time, I'm free. I don't know what the future holds, if love will find me again, if I'll manage the bills, if I'll ever sleep through the night. But I do know this, I'd rather struggle in truth than live comfortably in a lie. If you're reading this and feel like you're stuck, you're not. Sometimes walking away is the bravest kind of staying strong, and you'll be okay, I promise. Do you like stories like this? Click here to watch more.